That's a foreign government's leader saying that. Are you going to sit there and take it? Are you going to keep electing people like Biden and yes, Trump, who are their who do everything that Netanyahu tells them to do? Like a dog, Trump heals to this guy. Biden, of course, heals to this guy. He's been healing to him for 50 straight years.
It's the Thanksgiving treat at this point. It's you have turkey, you watch football, maybe you toss the pigskin around yourself. And I and my uncle get together and have a Cenk-off. That's right, a real uncle-nephew standoff. That's right. There is actually a movement online called Don't Care, Still Voting for Cenk. That's right. I don't know if you were aware of this or not.
Actually, I'm not.
How do you get rid of Hamas
Let's take a look.
if you don't do it the way Israel is currently doing it, albeit with...
You do what America did with the Osama bin Laden. We didn't go drop a nuke on Pakistan. We didn't go destroy 6,000 residential buildings in the middle of Pakistan. We sent in special forces. Is it more dangerous to the special forces? Of course. That's the point of special forces. Try to find the hostages. Does it look like Israel's trying to find the hostages? If I have a family member that's a hostage, I'm disgusted by what Netanyahu's doing now. How do you know they're not in the buildings you're dropping bombs on? How do you know they're not in the tunnels you're dropping bombs on? How do you know they're not in the hospitals you're dropping bombs on? So if you want the hostages rescued, every rational human being can agree this is not the way to do it. This is the way to do death and destruction for the sake of death and destruction. It's collective punishment. It's genocide against Palestinians, and the world has to speak out. So my way is not pleasant either. It involves a lot of folks dying on both sides. I understand that. Those are super hard choices. But go find Hamas. Go find the hostages. Go rescue them instead of wantonly, indiscriminately, killing after killing. And let's be honest, when you drop a bomb and a kid's head explodes and a grandmother is incinerated, that is terrorism.
Yeah, don't care, still voting for Cenk. That video that we just watched, what the fuck happened? That video we watched has 370,000 likes on TikTok.
Yeah. That segment got over 4 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, you killed it. Yeah. Obviously, you and I have, I guess, some disagreements on that. I think like the best way to negotiate or the best way to deal with the situation is to negotiate and do the exact opposite. That was my perspective after 9/11 as well. People have often asked me, what should have America done? And I'm like, literally the opposite of what they did, which I think you would agree with as well. You and I are in agreement on this issue. I don't think we're going to fight a lot on this. We're not going to have a Cenk-off on Israel-Palestine, it seems.
No, I mean, look, I don't like I think Hamas is counterproductive. I think they're Muslim fundamentalists. I got no interest in them. I don't know if you disagree with that. But obviously the Palestinians should be free. Obviously the occupation is an unbearable injustice. And obviously we shouldn't send a dime to Israel until they not only end this bombing campaign, but end the occupation. So I don't know why in the world we would support someone who's oppressing people for 56 straight years.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a fairly reasonable take. The only difference, I guess, is that, like, no, I mean, I agree with all of that. Yeah. It's not like, I've talked about this before, it's not like Hamas in and of itself is like a popular movement. It's more so anyone who will retaliate against Israel's unjustifiable criminal occupation, its belligerent occupation. I think that is what the broad majority opinion of the Palestinians is, that like the understanding is the occupation has to be costly, because if it's not, then Israel thinks they can just continue getting away with what they're doing. And
So I'll just say two things about that. One, when the Palestinians went to the UN to try to get a state declared, just like Israel did, when Israel said that was unacceptable and America backed that play, that's what led to this. Because if you say diplomacy is terrorism and terrorism is terrorism, well, then you're going to get actual terrorism, because you're not giving any political, diplomatic, peaceful solution a chance. It was absurd, and it was unconscionable for America to not support the Palestinians' resolution to get a state through the United Nations.
There was also the 27 Hamas heel turn, basically, where they did the same thing. They tried to do a PLO situation where they updated their charter, and then they said, like, they wanted to gain international recognition But of course, that was completely antithetical to what the Israeli governments were designing Hamas to be, a fundamentalist terror cell. They're bad. They're terrorists. Everyone in Palestine are terrorists. They voted for Hamas. I mean, this is something that...
So can I just say two things about that? First of all, I've now seen a bunch of Israeli officials, including Isaac Herzog, the president, say that. And what they're doing is they're agreeing with Hamas, and they're agreeing with Osama bin Laden. In bin Laden's letter to the U.S., he said the American civilians had it coming because they voted for the American administrations that they have, like the Bush one. And Hamas says the Israeli citizens had it coming because they voted for Netanyahu, etc. So when Isaac Herzog says, well, the Palestinians once voted for Hamas, 20 years ago, so their civilians had it coming, that is a very literal terrorist talking point. So
yeah, but
he's advocating for terrorism.
Okay, you don't understand. Have you considered that terrorism can only be done by what we perceive are enemy combatants? I wouldn't say brown guys in the situation because Israel is very brown in the exact same way that like Palestine is, you know what I mean? But like in the eyes of the American, in the eyes of the Western world, we mostly only see Ashkenazi Jews. So we think like, oh, those are the white guys on the field.
Yeah, no, it's those like, that's why all these labels are so stupid. Like the Israelis and the Palestinians are nearly indistinguishable. They're of course we're the same people. We're all indistinguishable. Our DNA is like 99.9% the same. It's just labels that we put on people: Israeli, Palestinian, Jewish, Muslim. It's silly. It's totally to kill each other over that is insanity. And then one last thing.
It's not a religious conflict necessarily. I think it's more so that is the justification used to harden, further polarize and harden the battle lines. Basically, like to be able to draw the battle lines accurately. Or what the fuck? What is happening here? This is like in the way. Hold on, I'm trying to move this. Okay, there it is. To justify it, to sell the war.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of factors. So the religious fundamentalism of the Israeli settlers is definitely relevant. Of Hamas is definitely relevant, and it helps to separate out them in a way that is unresolvable. In other words, it's disastrous because it separates them out in a way that's unresolvable. But ultimately, it's a power dynamic at play. And so and by the way, they say, oh well, if Hamas had the power that Israel has, they'd kill every Jew. No, that's actually not at all true. It would play out almost exactly as it's playing out now, where the Palestinians would oppress the Israelis and occupy them.
But they
wouldn't kill all of them. That's ridiculous.
But you don't even know that because. Like we have no way of knowing that because Hamas and any kind of political mobilization that it's been able to create for itself, any kind of like popularity that it's been able to cultivate for itself, and it's been deeply unpopular throughout its inception and well into the 2000s, and even now is not a very popular entity, is due to the occupation. Is due to the fact that time and time again, these negotiations that were being done with Yasser Arafat led to more settlements, more expansion of the West Bank, more oppression, the permit tyranny that Palestinians were subjected to. So I don't even think that Hamas, in the way that we understand it or the way that it exists, would exist if they had that same level of power.
No, 100%. Except for the fact that whichever government has unlimited power will almost always abuse it, right? And that's what's happening in Israel. But overall, of course, Hamas wouldn't exist if there was no occupation.
Yeah,
and
they would vanish. It would,
yeah. So look, one other defense that Israeli supporters use is, well, all these guys are anti-Semitic, so they no matter what we do, they try to kill us. That's nonsense, total utter nonsense. Yeah. So first of all, there's global anti-Semitism. That is definitely true, right? But is that related to why the Palestinians in particular are aggrieved with Israel?
Yeah.
No, it's because you're occupying them. That's not complicated. Pretending it's because they're hateful. Okay, when were they supposed to love you? At what point in the occupation where the Palestinians go, hey, you know what? Even though these guys have been occupying us and taking away all of our dignity, our economic opportunity, dropping bombs on us, cutting off the water and power anytime they want, and bringing in settlers to steal our land and having them execute us every once in a while summarily, we're supposed, oh, right, but we love them.
I think I would go so far as to say that I think Palestinians do show a tremendous amount of resilience and also are infinitely less hateful towards Jewish people or even even Israelis in general, but like Jewish people across the board, than one would expect under any other normal circumstance. Something that Norm Finkelstein talks about a lot is like the hatred that his parents, his mom and dad, both Holocaust survivors, both concentration camp survivors, they were in the Warsaw Ghetto, the hatred that they experience, the hatred that they feel towards Germans, carried on to like their experiences living in America. And he always talks about like how understandable of a hatred that was, considering like what the Germans had done, what the Nazis had done. And that distinction is almost impossible to make, even after years and years of like surviving that oppression. As far as I've seen, Palestinians are infinitely less hateful. Maybe it's because they understand their position is like born into oppression, and they are very cognizant, or maybe it's because they are hyper educated in spite of all of the circumstances that they've been that they've had to deal with. But you know, most Palestinians that I hear from are way less hateful than they normally anyone else would under normal circumstances.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on that is, look, they set up this oppression loop that is unbreakable. So they say, since they hate us, we have to occupy and oppress them. And the more they occupy and oppress them, the more they are hated, of course, as would happen in any situation, right? So then they say, well, now you hate us more, now we have to occupy you more. Oh, well, now you hate us more, now we have to occupy you more. So it's an infinite loop that cannot be broken. And the reason for that is that it's not that Netanyahu and the Israeli right-wing government couldn't figure that out logically. It's that they want to occupy.
Yeah.
They want to take more land.
Exactly. I mean, I think this is one of the most prescient Netanyahu takes of all time. This is like, it was on TRT, TRT, the Turkish broadcaster. Let me see if I can find it. But do you guys know the video I'm talking about? It's like the old one from like 2001. Oh, here it is. A leaked video from 2001. It's not even a leaked video, but
oh yeah.
This perfectly summarizes like exactly what his position is and exactly how he deals with like American leaders in general. A leaked video from 2001 shows Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu talking about how Israel intentionally strikes Palestinians painfully, how he deceived the U.S. to break the Oslo Accords, and how Americans will always support Israel if it faces backlash. The world will say that we're the aggressors. Hold on. Because they can say whatever they want. Aren't you afraid of what they'll say, Bibi? Especially today with the U.S.? I know how they are. America is something that you can easily maneuver and move in the right direction. And even if they say something, so then they say something. So what? 80% of Americans support us. By the way, this is the same Benjamin Netanyahu who sidestepped Barack Obama, regularly undermined him, went to the Republican Congress and delivered a speech while Obama was president. And he's right. You know what Obama did on his fucking way out? By the way, Obama, least popular politician in Israel, widely condemned by Zionists as like a Jew hater directly. That's like what what ultra Zionists have said about Barack Obama. What did Obama do on his way out after being undermined and shit all over by Benjamin Netanyahu? Oh, he gave him $38 billion over the course of the next 10 years. So, he's right. Netanyahu is right. What happened with the Oslo Accords? The Accords which were ratified by Parliament. I was asked before the 1996 elections, will you fulfill them? Yeah. I said yes, subject to reciprocity and minimizing pullouts. I gave my own interpretation of the agreements in such a way that will allow me to stop the race back towards the 1967 borders. How do we manage to do this? Nobody defined what military facilities are, so they kept on taking more land under the auspices of military use. So I defined them as being security zones. He's saying the entire Jordan Valley for me is a military facility. Nobody has. Yes, like the Beit Shean Valley. You see, go figure. It's so funny that this is like presented as like leaked video, but the hilarity of it is that there's nothing leaked about this. This is all well documented. Half of the shit that he's saying here is half of the shit he ran on time and time again. And also, the other half is like very well documented by Israeli human rights organizations like B'Tselem. So none of this is like a big secret.
Yeah. Look, no one, it doesn't matter. At this point, all that there is on the Israeli side is the Israeli right wing. The Israeli left wing doesn't even support them.
The Israeli left wing is...
Yeah, well, it's okay. And then the U.S. government, right? Both 95% of Republicans and Democrats. But not the U.S. people anymore. They've lost us. So now, he's saying it's so easy to maneuver the Americans. By the way, American citizens, why don't you do an uprising against your own government, right? Look at them. He says, these are all my bitches. I can move them around any way I like. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. They kneel at my feet. That's a foreign government's leader saying that. Are you going to sit there and take it? Are you going to keep electing people like Biden and yes, Trump, who are their bitches and who do everything that Netanyahu tells them to do? Like a dog, Trump heals to this guy. Biden, of course, heals to this guy. He's been healing to him for 50 straight years.
President Cenk.
Yeah, JankForAmerica.com. I'm actually for America, not like these guys who sell us out to foreign countries nonstop. Has Trump stopped taking Saudi money yet? Is Biden off his knees yet for Saudi Arabia? Again, Saudi Arabia bitch slaps Biden and raises gas prices right before the midterms, insults him to his face. And what does Biden do? Nothing. He just kneels again. So I'm tired of these so-called Democratic leaders who kneel to everybody, kneel to all their corporate donors, kneel to our foreign governments. Doesn't matter if it's Israel, Saudi Arabia. They never do what we want. 68% of Americans want a ceasefire, but only like 10% of Congress does because they don't represent us. They just represent their donors. Anyone telling you otherwise
I know what you're
is
talking
a
about.
total goddamn liar, and everybody knows it except the corrupt in Washington.
Richie Torres is my congressman, my favorite.
Richie Torres, what a sellout. I mean, what a pathetic, groveling sellout.
He's. I don't know
Dude,
what you're
we
talking
get
about.
it. You get money from that lobby. We get it. Okay? We all know it. You've groveled enough. Pick yourself up off the ground. It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. Richie Torres, Jesus Christ, man. Have some dignity. Their boots are clean already, Richie. Get up off the ground. And when you talk about lobbies, I talk about defense contractors, oil companies. They also benefit from conflicts in the Middle East. But if you don't think that AIPAC's a lobby that affects the Democratic and Republican parties, you're on crack.
No,
doesn't think that.
I have never seen someone so openly and flagrantly defend a group that they're so directly getting financial support from. Like, this would be akin to a politician literally being like, if you consider Raytheon to be like an evil company, then I think you should be arrested.
Yeah, you're a terrorist if you don't.
Yeah,
support
you're a terrorist
Raytheon
if you don't support
wasting
Raytheon.
more of our money.
Like
right?
most senators and most congresspersons at least like have the dignity of like shutting the fuck up when they know they should. Richie Torres is like so horny that he literally shat on the president of J Street. Did you see this? Like, J Street is also a Zionist institution. It's just supposed to be a liberal Zionist institution that's like, anti-settlements and things of that nature. And like, there's supposed to be a counterbalance to AIPAC.
I like J Street.
Yeah. I don't, I have friends that have worked at J Street that, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, my point is J Street's perspective, well, early on after October 7th was also insane, which a lot of the people that used to work with J Street and still work within J Street were like, dial it back. What the fuck are you guys doing? Remember when they did the no ceasefire bill?
So I don't. But look, here's the thing about J Street.
Anyway,
the bottom line is they're certainly not anybody's radical, right?
No, they're not. In comparison to AIPAC, of course they're not. So yeah, they're liberal Zionists in general. But here's the point I'm trying to make. Richie Torres yelled at the president of J Street after Jamal Bowman talked about a J Street-backed West Bank trip that that American congressmen and women took, okay, where he said he was not allowed into certain parts of the West Bank because he wasn't Jewish. And Richie Torres was like, that's a lie. And then he conflated that with an actual anti-Semitic conspiracy, the Jewish space lasers conspiracy, and said West Bank checkpoints are a lie akin to the Jewish space lanes, like Jewish checkpoints in the West Bank, which is fucking psychotic. Like it's like the most insane thing you can say. You're undermining the severity of anti-Semitism by conflating it with things that are demonstrably correct that people have seen and documented. Israeli human rights groups have documented this for years and years. It's so fucking stupid.
Haas, I actually saw that in one of your tweets,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe he said that. So there's real anti-Semitism in the world and in the country right now. I mean, 2 synagogues got shot up.
Yeah.
Right-wingers are, now, they're supporting Nick Fuentes. Donald Trump had dinner with Fuentes, Kanye West. They're openly talking about
Elon Musk is talking about fucking Jewish great replacement conspiracies.
Yeah, that's totally nuts, right? Like, in the moment of this, like, heightened anti-Semitism, for them to use it for political reasons is disgusting. It's the boy who cried wolf at the worst possible time. To say that Jewish space lasers, which is an obviously anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, is the equivalent of saying that there's checkpoints in the West Bank. What are you talking about? Of course there's checkpoints in the West Bank. Netanyahu would agree that there's checkpoints in the West Bank.
Yeah.
That's a mental thing to say. That's saying, hey, listen, I will do any lie. I will do any piece of propaganda. Please send checks to richiedoras.com or wherever the hell your website is. Dude, we see you, brother. We see you. The whole world sees how pathetic you are, Richie Torres.
Yeah,
You're like a groveling, pathetic, miserable person. Just go into some other job. Become a plumber. Become a dentist. Do something useful with your life instead of being a floor mat, the dirty mop that you use, like the dirtiest mop you have. For any lobbyist that comes by,
well, he deleted
just have
it.
To be AIPAC.
To be fair, he deleted it. Except he blocked me and he's been like going off on a fucking tangent still. He's a ridiculous person, debasing himself in this way. Also, once again, another person is John Fetterman as well, which is so fucking so disappointing.
You want me to tell you the backstory of that? Because I was.
All right, give us the deets.
Yeah. So when Fetterman was running, he's running as a populist progressive. We're all super excited. This is pre-stroke, right? And and so I'm just keeping it real, right? And at that point, he's like the next coming. Like, I think he's going to run for president. He's got the best chance of winning. He can knock Biden out. I'm super jazzed about Fetterman, right? And he gets it that you shouldn't do the robotic plastic crap that other politicians do.
Yeah.
Then he's a lieutenant governor, so he's never spoken out about Israel. So everybody's curious, how's he going to handle it? Because right at that point, Democratic majority for Israel, AIPAC, et cetera, are dumping millions of dollars into races. They've already spent $4 million against Nina Turner. So everybody knows that. So the progressive community is waiting to see what he's going to say. Is he going to A, stand up to them, B, punt, or C, kiss their ass? And he comes out with an aggressively ass-kissing message. And so at that point, I no hate. Okay, I got it. You're trying to win the election. You don't want $4 million spent against you. But once you win the election, then you're an incumbent. You have a ton of money. You have a ton of money.
Do you see what I'm showing you, though?
Power and leverage, okay?
Do you see what I'm showing you? Democratic majority for Israel PAC endorses Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman for Senate.
Of course. You kiss their ass, they endorse you. That's how it works. But then he gets into Senate, and it turns out he's like Richie Torres Jr. And he's, that's a heavy insult. I'll take it back, right? But it's like...
No, I think that's
close,
valid.
brother.
No, it's valid. He has more to offer than Richie Torres, for sure. But I think that it's an incredibly valid comparison to make because he quite literally, I don't know why, is seemingly dropped everything else and like either talks about being depressed, wearing fucking his dumbass outfits, or Israel and defending Israel unconditionally. He had a fucking Israeli flag that he was waving at the Palestinian protesters outside of a demonstration. Yeah. He went to the fucking psychotic "Let's Kill More Babies" march that they did, where John Hagee, famous anti-Semitic, psychopathic, far-right evangelical televangelist, was speaking about how, Israel has a right to Judea and Samaria because it's like, Armageddon is going to happen.
If you say, by the way, that Israel has a right to Judea and Samaria, it's the same thing as saying river to the sea. It's pro-genocide.
It's way past river to the sea because river to the sea in its inception and consistently has been an emancipatory slogan that does not mean killing Jews. Like I don't know if you're a anti-river to the sea guy. I'm not.
I don't want to it's not a useful thing. So
I've defended it unconditionally
I
and continue to defend it.
I understand that it could be interpreted in different ways, and I've said that. Having said that, it's not a helpful or productive thing to say. But if you say that Israel should have Judea as Samaria, one, you're a religious fundamentalist nut job. You're a lunatic who should be locked up in an asylum. Number two, you're basically saying you're pro-genocide and have no respect for the Palestinian people. You're against all international
I don't think,
law. You're for war crimes.
Here's why I don't think it's an equivalence either, by the way, because it is in the part of the Likud charter as well. The equivalence does not exist there because, like, from the river to the sea, Palestinians are under occupation. And the occupying force saying that is, of course, going to be a little bit different. It's the same dynamic between black power, which is an emancipatory slogan, an emancipatory group, versus white power, which came after black power in an effort to do white identitarian politics, which was inherently genocidal and fascist.
There's no need for it. That's all. We're 100% right on this issue.
Yeah,
that's all.
So anyway, I just the reason why I defend it unconditionally is because, well, one, I care about the etymology, I care about the history of the statement, but also because people get fucking fired over it, and I think that's ridiculous. Susan Sarandon just got dropped by UTA, very cowardly. Fucking the head of CAA's like motion pictures division is, as far as I understand, like one of the only like Libyan women of color in a position of power in fucking Hollywood. And she was slated to be dropped entirely from CAA. And then Tom Cruise stepped up and was like, no, you can't do that. This is my agent. I want her to stay. And a bunch of like the powerful clients of CAA had to stand for her so that she didn't lose her job entirely. It is so fucking scummy, so nasty, so fucked up that this is what's happening. You have Melissa Barrera, who was dropped from Scream 7 for literally, it's like comical, for putting forth on her social media profile, on her Instagram story, a Jewish Currents magazine article from Holocaust and genocide historian scholar Ross Segal's article on Jewish Currents magazine on how Israel is a textbook case for genocide. This man is a genocide scholar. He's Israeli, he's Jewish, he's writing for Jewish Currents magazine, and posting that article in the eyes of Spyglass Studios or whatever the fuck was too far. It was a bridge too far.
Yeah. So number one, let's call it what it is: cancel culture. So now
it's McCarthyism. It's the only real type of cancel culture that like has been so systematized in the United States of America. Historically speaking, cancel culture there has never been like a anti-Nazi cancel culture in America. Nazis have been historically defended under the auspices of free speech. The only time where we have historically allowed Congress and allowed politicians and allowed organizations to undermine political action that is supposed to be protected under the First Amendment is McCarthyism, Red Scare.
Yeah, and Barry Weiss started cancel culture by going around targeting Palestinian professors.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, how dare you treat Palestinians as human beings? You should be fired, right?
Yeah.
And then she pretended to be aggrieved by cancel culture. No, bitch, you started it. Let's be honest about it. Let's call it what it is, okay? And so this is like the height of cancel culture. How dare you disagree with Israel? You're fired. And it's not, and none of them, by the way, said from river to the sea at all. They said war crimes and genocide. Those are the trigger words, apparently. But those are just facts. Srebrenica, 6,000 Muslims killed. That was called a genocide because they targeted them for being Muslim, right? And so it's not Holocaust. It's not the same thing. You're just targeting based on ethnicity and killing a certain number of people and mass relocation. There's no question. It's definitional. But it's there's one hero in that CIA agent story. But it's such a
Tom Cruise?
Well, along with Tom Cruise, because you already said Tom. But it's such a bad precedent to set and such a bad look. Like, if you're Steven Spielberg, who apparently, if you believe the reporting, I don't know that it's, I wasn't there. But, or any of these other guys who pressured CAA to fire her, that's such a bad look, guys.
Wait, Steven
At a time of
Spielberg
anti-Semitism, You don't go around going, she dared to speak out against Israel. Fire her.
No, Spielberg. Right? Wait, I don't. It says Andrew.
Yeah, I read it in one of the articles. I'm not putting it on Spielberg. Like, there was a whole bunch of people internally at CIA and externally, their clients, and he was mentioned in one of the articles. He's not the pivotal guy. It's not, his name's not important. The point is, a whole bunch of people said, let's fire her because she's dared to say a political statement we don't agree with.
Yeah.
Even though it's technically and factually true, right? The other hero, other than Tom Cruise, was J.J. Abrams. So he apparently stepped up behind the scenes, was like, what are you guys doing? No, don't fire her. And so,
You know what's really
great
interesting?
job. Thank you, J.J. Abrams.
You know who actually, I don't know where they stand now, but you know who actually has been like incredibly critical of the Benjamin Netanyahu administration? And it's someone you would not expect. It's someone whose brother you've called a donkey and is the reason why you were maybe you may or may not have left WME, as a matter of fact. But yeah, Ari Emanuel. Yeah, Ari Emanuel has been like, because I looked into it to see, like, I wonder what his perspective is, because, like, obviously Rom is like fucking reactionary piece of shit, right?
Well,
so I thought
those are two different things, though. So and Rom served in the IDF too. So Ari Emanuel supports Israel 200%, and I'm sure there's a million things we disagree on. But that's the great thing about Jewish culture, is that it not only like allows for dissent, but it advocates dissent. It wants you. It wants to have these. You're supposed to challenge the rabbi, etc. So there's tons and tons of both Israelis and Jewish Americans who can't stand Netanyahu and who want to get rid of Netanyahu.
Yeah.
So, and Ari Emanuel's in that camp, and bless his heart for that. And he's like, how much more do we have to deal with this shit? Right? He's totally incompetent, totally self-obsessed, totally corrupt. Let's get rid of this son of a bitch.
Yeah. It was Maha Dakil is who we're talking about, by the way, who worked with big name celebrities, including Tom Cruise, Reese Witherspoon, Natalie Portman, Ava DuVernay, and Hathaway stepped down from the internal board of the Creative Artists Agency following backlash for her incendiary posts. What were the incendiary posts, I wonder? Usually it's like, look, it's not a secret. I've been saying this since October 7th. You have to be very careful when you criticize Israel. It's just the truth. You have to be. For two reasons. One, because you do not want to say anything that can be misconstrued as anti-Semitic, because anti-Semitism is bigoted, is hateful, it's unacceptable. The other reason is because there are certainly going to be people that want to misconstrue your message to say, oh yeah, look at it, he's being anti-Semitic. And when that happens, when your words are cynically misconstrued, if you are especially approaching a criticism of Israel from a callous perspective, because you know that, let's say, morality is on your side, and you say something as callous as, like, maybe not even as callous, but like marginally, 10% as callous as like Amy Schumer, for example, who's been like baying and cackling like a fucking hyena about how all Palestinians are fucking rapists and deserve death and destruction. Or Sarah Silverman, who literally said, justified that we must cut the electricity and food and water to the Gaza Strip, only to be rewarded with a Daily Show, a broadcasting opportunity. Or Brett Gelman. All of these guys who were just like saying disgusting, freakish things about Palestinians and how they have to be ethnically cleansed. They will never get punished. You, on the other hand, if you say something that can even be remotely misconstrued, will absolutely get punished. Sometimes by onlookers who don't realize what you're trying to say, and in other instances by the likes of ADL, which, in my opinion, have openly shown that they do not care about real anti-Semitism. They simply care about anti-Zionism. I think that Jonathan Greenblatt's actions demonstrate this reality. The actions that have been criticized by a lot of liberal Zionists as well.
I didn't know that Sarah Silverman said that. That's disappointing. I really like her. I'm hoping that she realizes it was a mistake. I'll look it up later. And
she said that she was high.
Okay, well,
she got high when she
that's
said.
Okay, at least she's like saying my bad. So for Jonathan Greenblatt, look, he did great work during the Trump Muslim ban and all that stuff. And so, he's a mixed bag. He's done
Who?
good,
Greenblatt?
yeah, in sticking up for Muslims, Americans, and other people. But whenever it comes to Israel, he thinks that it's his job to defend Israel, and it isn't. You're misconstruing your job, brother. That's AIPAC and Democratic Majority for Israel, etc. You're supposed to be standing up for Jewish Americans, and so the way he throws around the word anti-Semitism in regards to defending any Israeli policies deeply counterproductive.
No, they fully went back to like 1990, early 90s ADL, collaborating with fucking apartheid South African agents and shit, and spying on the Jewish left. It's basically back to that level of ADL this time around.
Yeah, and you're ruining credibility of the organization.
No, it's gone. It's fucking lit on fire. And I think Jonathan Greenblatt openly recognized it. Even the former president of ADL literally tweeted out, Jonathan Greenblatt is a piece of shit, basically. Like, I mean, he didn't say those words.
Because, of what he's doing to defend Elon Musk.
Yes.
Too. And so that's, like, you know what? I mean, I don't even want to bring him up, but it's a perfect analogy. Rabbi Shmuley, right? So he goes and attacks me in an insane lunatic way on Piers Morgan, calls me every name in the book, but then it turns out he was the guy defending Bobby Kennedy for saying that coronavirus is genetically designed to avoid Ashkenazi Jews, and he defended Michael Jackson when he wrote "Beat Me, Jew Me" in a song. So he's like a little paid bitch to defend anti-Semites.
Oh, hold on. Well, not anti-Semites in this case, but he's also defended my favorite defender of Israel / defender of the constitutional reasons as to why we should look into lowering the age of consent laws, the Dersh. Did you know that?
Uh-huh.
He defended Alan Dershowitz when Virginia Giuffre came out and said Alan Dershowitz, sexually assaulted me. Friend to Jeffrey Epstein, Alan Dershowitz. He defended.
Of course he did, right? Because he doesn't have does he have a congregation somewhere? Rabbi, right? He has this non-profit where most of the money goes to him and his wife and their house, I think. So you can look it up. You can see the exact details, right? You don't take my word for it. My opinion is that Rabbi Shmuley is a corrupt defender of anti-Semites and does it for money and is one of the worst pieces of shit there is in media. But you can look it up. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, so this decision from the CIA was made after Duck Hill reposted an Instagram story on Wednesday, which read in part, "You're currently learning who supports genocide." She added her own message over the repost stating, "That's the line for me." That's it. What's more heartbreaking than witnessing genocide? Witnessing the denial that the genocide is happening. That's why the fucking CIA guys were like, "That's a bridge too far, actually, madam." Yeah. Can't wait to make sick-ass fucking movies 10 years down the line about how, there were brave defenders of the Palestinians or whatever the fuck. Like, think about it this way. What are, like, some of the top movies right now? Martin Scorsese's historical rendition of Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing here? Like, you guys don't realize you can't draw a fucking parallel to what's happening? I guess they just, like, want those in Hollywood just, like, don't really give a shit about ethnic cleansing happening because it turns out it makes really good movies. Oppenheimer is another one. Exactly.
And by the way, look, let's be honest, okay? They're doing the same exact thing that Turks do, okay?
Oh, with the Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
They're like, oh, well, no, it's not a genocide. I mean, yeah, we marched them, and yeah, we moved 1 million people, and we did ethnic cleansing, and we did the war crimes, and we dropped bombs onto buildings where we know Hamas is in the tunnels, and the tunnels are completely unaffected, and we killed 12,000 civilians, over 5,000 children. But no, you can't call it a genocide. No, it's like literally the definition of a genocide.
Yeah.
And same thing that happened with the Ottoman Empire, right? Yeah, mass relocations, massacres, that's targeting a specific group.
Yeah, people...
Clearly, that is the definition of a genocide.
People think, I think incorrectly, that there's like a number that you have to hit for it to be a genocide. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
There would be no reason to study genocides and to have any kind of designation for what is a genocide if the only designation is appropriate after the fact. That doesn't mean anything. Then why the fuck are we learning about anything at all?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would you ever learn about how this stuff works if it was only allowed to be spoken on after the fact, like the top of the hour ad break that I'm going to run right now that I forgot to run. Okay, and I'm going to go pee. You can talk to the chat while I do that.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.